Goku and Vegeta are permanently fused together, and now they just have to try and make the best of it. Now that Vegito's met Beerus and become a god, what happens next? We'll be seeing all that and more in the second part of What If Vegito Never Defused. Following the events of Resurrection F, Vegito of course goes back to Beerus' planet, training more and more with his newest power, Super Saiyan Blue. By this point it's pretty clear that Vegito is so far beyond everyone that he doesn't really have a challenge around him. Well, besides Beerus of course. Whis is trying to lead him towards Ultra Instinct, and he thinks Vegito might be able to pull it off, although Beerus wonders if he could pull off something like a God of Destruction instead. They do have to spend some more time with him to see what fits best, but in the meantime, he's at least working on Super Saiyan Blue and getting a better control on that. Champa does visit at some point, and this causes the Universe 6 tournament to get set up. Beerus isn't worried at all. He doesn't let Champa know right away that Vegito is as strong as he is, because this way the tournament will be a lot easier. So, when the tournament begins, Beerus just sends Vegito out first. And as you'd probably expect, Vegito just sweeps everyone. Even when Frost tries to poison him, Vegito's perception is just so fast that he sees what Frost is trying to do. And besides, after his recent fight with Frieza, when Frost goes into his final form, Vegito would realize that it's kind of a waste of time to fight him. Once he's up against Hit, at least here it's an interesting fight for him. Hit's time abilities are kinda hard to work around at first, and Vegito doesn't immediately transform. But soon enough he figures out what Hit's doing and tries to counter it. While Hit is strong, Vegito just fights in Super Saiyan 2 at first. And even with time skip, Hit just can't hurt him here. Vegito powered up solely to stay in the ring and to take some attacks from Hit. He did want to fight in base, but this way he could figure out what's going on. His goal is to make this fight as fun as possible and use as little power as possible. And once he figures out what Hit's strategy is, Vegito's ready to fight back with full force. He does still hold back, and he does use Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 for a bit. But when he sees he's had his fun, he goes into Super Saiyan God to finish the battle with Hit. He has gotten stronger since fighting Frieza, and just like that fight with Frieza, he's still too strong for him to use his full power here. And Vegito's just a bit bored now. Like, he just won a tournament against another universe's fighters, single-handedly, without even using his full power. He didn't even really need to use Super Saiyan God there. He's growing stronger like he wanted, and he is the strongest mortal in the universe and maybe even the multiverse. But he has no challenge. Like, what's the point of that if the only people who could challenge him are the gods? At least Universe 7 ended up winning, and for Champa, he gets Earth back because Beerus is nice with the wish. Vegito also learned of the Super Dragon Balls here, and he thinks they might actually be able to defuse him. Sure, it would be hard to get the Super Dragon Balls, but it is something to keep in mind. Maybe once they're back, he'll go after them. But he doesn't. Some time passes after the tournament, and one day at Capsule Corp, Trunks returns, barely escaping what seems to be a huge threat. He actually didn't know the person he was fighting, but weirdly enough, he looked kind of like Vegeta and kind of like Goku at the same time. He was neither of them, but looked kind of similar. And when he gets back to the past, he's stricken with fear when he sees Vegito standing in front of him. This is the person he was fighting in his future, immediately powering up trying to fight Vegito, while Vegito just tries to calm Trunks down. Yeah, he knows he looks different, but he reassures Trunks. He's an ally. But still, why attack him? Trunks obviously doesn't know who Vegito is. It's not like a Goku Black situation where he knew who Goku was, but he sees he's at Capsule Corp, and all the other people around him are people that he recognizes. He explains that Vegito was attacking his future, but Vegito says that's impossible. Trunks doesn't know who he is, does he? So Vegito explains. He's the fusion of Goku and Vegeta, and they've been stuck like this for a few years. Well, that at least explains it to Trunks, and he realizes he can trust Vegito. But how did Vegito even appear in his future? Both Goku and Vegeta are dead, and why would he attack here anyways? And Vegito has no clue either. But a portal then opens nearby, and sure enough, Vegito is the one that comes out of it, but it's not the same Vegito. He's wearing slightly different clothes. This is Vegito Black. It's hard to notice, but he's wearing a time ring too. With Goku Black, seeing the Potara was at least somewhat of a giveaway of what he was, but since it's Vegito, he's wearing Potara regardless. And thankfully with the Potara he had, that also let him use the time ring. So Vegito begins fighting him, and he knows he could finish this fight right away, but something holds him back. It's kind of like Goku with Goku Black. He could have finished that fight right away when they first encountered him, but Vegito tries to test Vegito Black's power like normal and figure out who he is. But he doesn't really get many answers from this fight, and Vegito Black ends up escaping. Weirdly enough, never transforming during the battle. But still, he was pretty powerful in base. Vegito isn't sure why. That guy does look like him, and his ki feels somewhat similar, but also different at the same time. They're just left more confused if anything. And he ended up destroying the time machine in the process. Soon enough, they go to the future, and they have room for one more this time, since it's just Vegito and Trunks. Piccolo decides he's going to join. He doesn't think he'll do much fighting, but he does want to see what's going on, and maybe he could try and figure something out. Vegito wants to bring him along because he knows Piccolo's smart and reliable. He doesn't need the extra muscle. He wants the extra brain power from Piccolo. Gohan would go and fight, but he doesn't think he's going to be able to do anything against Vegito. And of course, they don't even know Zamasu's involved. It's just a hunch. While the time machine was being fixed, Vegito did go to visit him, and that was his first encounter with Zamasu. So that's why in an alternate timeline, events went like this. Think of pretty much exactly what happened in the main story, except instead of Goku, it's just Vegito taking his place. Zamasu watched the tournament, got mad, encountered Vegito at some point, and decided to steal his body. But while they're in the future, Beerus, Whis, and Gohan will figure out what to do with Zamasu here, if he even is a threat. They arrive in the future and pretty much encounter Vegito Black right away. But they also see another person appear, Zamasu, a future version of him. Piccolo and Trunks will fight him while Vegito fights Vegito Black. And this time Vegito knows to finish it as quick as he can. Except Vegito Black shows off a new power, transforming into a new pink-haired form, which he calls Vegito Rose. And Vegito feels something he hasn't really felt in a while. With how strong he's gotten, now he's actually feeling excited for a battle again. But it kind of bums him out a little because the only person who can challenge him is just himself. But it's not too big of a deal. He's still going to have a lot of fun here, and if anything that just proves his power even further. Vegito Black has gotten a lot stronger, especially with this form. And Vegito uses Super Saiyan Blue to its fullest. But even that might not be enough. Somehow, Vegito Black is even stronger than him. Well, at least when he's fighting like this. And that really gets Vegito happy because he doesn't need to hold back here. Because even with Super Saiyan Blue, he's technically holding back a bit. He tries a few different things during battle. For one, he tries to enact some of the principles that Whis was trying to teach him. Trying to have his body move on instinct so he could fight without thinking. And when he tries it out, it does kind of work a bit, but it just makes Vegito Black angry, thinking he's not taking the fight seriously, with Vegito Black's anger growing, making him more powerful. And you know what? Yeah, it might not be the best time to test this. But he knows what's perfect for this moment. It's something that Zamasu didn't actually see before stealing Vegito's body. Vegito's ki rises even further. His blue aura grows even more fierce, with a red aura appearing on top of it, as he shouts Kaioken. He's figured out how to combine blue with Kaioken, and it's been really effective recently, although he hasn't really gotten to use it in any fight, only when he occasionally spars with Beerus. Vegito Black is taken aback, because he knew nothing about this. It was so well hidden. Vegito could significantly multiply his power during battle, and sure, it does stress his body out, but he doesn't use it haphazardly. He mainly tries it out when attacking, switching it on and off pretty easily. Meanwhile, Piccolo and Trunks fight Zamasu, and Zamasu is somewhat impressed with their power, mainly with Piccolo. He's never seen this Namekian before, but he is pretty strong. For Trunks, he already did know his strength before, and it seems him and Piccolo are on par with each other, just based on what Zamasu's seeing right now, so they should be able to defeat him pretty easily, but he's immortal, so that's not happening. Piccolo actually does have a solution for this, but before he does it, he tells Trunks they should fight a little bit longer just to get more info out of Zamasu, which ends up working. Zamasu loves talking about himself too, but Piccolo gets him to monologue about his whole plan, giving him all the extra info he needed to fill in the blanks. Alright, that's good enough for him. He tells Trunks to hold off Zamasu for a bit. Piccolo's gonna prepare something. Just so Zamasu isn't suspicious, Piccolo makes it look like he's gonna go help Vegito. Trunks continues fighting Zamasu, and Zamasu doesn't know why he's still fighting. He's immortal. Nothing he does will work. Trunks is just wasting time. Trunks isn't really sure what Piccolo's up to, but he knows he's not wasting time. He's just buying it. Suddenly, Zamasu is swept up by a green wave of ki, and then sealed away by Piccolo, using a random trash can that he found, quickly making a seal for it too and performing a Mafuba. It's a good thing they took him along, because they didn't even realize they needed someone to seal Zamasu. But Piccolo was perfect for that because he knows the Mafuba after all. They can't kill him, but they can seal him. Meanwhile, the fight between the two Vegitos continues. Vegito Black's rage lets him grow even further, but Vegito uses Kaioken to help himself. And Vegito Black saw the extent of his power and wonders why he didn't use it. He had the chance to easily kill him earlier in the battle if he didn't let him grow further. So why do that? Why prolong the battle? Well, Vegito knew he could find his way out of this too. He's not being cocky, he's just being confident. He was pretty confident in the fact that he would win here. So he decided to just enjoy the fight while he could. But he thinks he's about ready to end it now. He reaches into his belt and pulls out a Senzu Bean, fully healing and reactivating Kaioken, going up to times 20. Vegito Black tries to use everything at his disposal and even tries contacting Zamasu, but he can't. He doesn't know what happened. And now that he thinks about it, he can't even sense Zamasu anymore. He could have gotten fully healed that way. So Vegito finishes the fight off with one of his new special moves, the Vegito Special. Pretty straightforward name. Vegito Black is rapidly attacked by a ball of ki from Vegito, with Vegito also slicing into him with a blade, finished off with a powerful explosion and a powerful slash. Both with Kaioken, of course. Piccolo and Trunks come over and see that Vegito's finished his fight, and he learns what happened with the Zamasu. Huh, how convenient. It's really good they brought Piccolo along. They got the info they wanted, and they also stopped both the enemies, not that they were prepared for the other enemy. They return to the present timeline, and once Beerus is informed of everything, they still keep a watch on Zamasu, and they eventually see him trying to kill Gowasu, giving Beerus the go-ahead to go and erase him. Erasing Zamasu won't affect anything in the future, but it doesn't really matter. He's sealed away anyways, and this way he's not going to attack this timeline either. So, by all accounts, Trunks' timeline is now safe. He's thankful for their help, but he asks Vegito, why hasn't he tried to defuse yet? It's because he can't. Even the Dragon Balls won't work. He theorized the Super Dragon Balls probably could, but he'd have to go on a quest and find them. And then it hits him, so maybe he can go on a hunt for them. It seems like kind of a lot, but at least it would help him unfuse. Sure, it's nice being Vegito and all, he is really strong, but he'd rather be Goku and Vegeta. His life is still really weird because first of all he can't find any challenges, but also just his personal life too. It's still a weird situation with Chi-Chi and Bulma, and it's kind of tough having both their lives merge into one. Sure, there are some great things about his life right now, but also a ton of bad things. So you know what? Yeah, he will go for the Super Dragon Balls. Trunks thanks everyone once more and returns to his timeline. He has to wait a bit, but once the Dragon Balls are restored, Vegito begins his hunt for the Super Dragon Balls, starting his own grand tour. Bulma builds a ship for him, and he goes alone. It's not like anyone else could really go with him anyways. But he starts traveling around the universe, going to different planets to try and find which ones are Super Dragon Balls. And this kinda does take a while, because first of all he actually needs to find the planets, and then somehow bring them all together. Like he definitely has the strength to pull around a couple of planets, but it's really weird because he has to group them in certain areas. So like, he has to fly the ship while dragging a planet behind him with his ki. Strength-wise, it's no issue. Logistically, it kind of is an issue. If he could fly through space and not worry about breathing, then yeah, that would be a lot better. But he's only able to get 2 Dragon Balls at first, because somebody stops him from collecting them. It's the Grand Priest. He tells Vegito to hold off for now. He didn't do anything wrong, it's just Zeno wants to get these Dragon Balls for himself. Vegito doesn't ask questions, but he really wonders what Zeno would want the Super Dragon Balls for. He actually did meet Zeno before at the Universe 6 tournament, so why does he want the Super Dragon Balls? That's kind of a bummer. He's probably gonna have to wait another year. So he takes his ship back to Earth and then goes to Beerus' planet, continuing to train to go beyond Super Saiyan Blue. He was training on his ship as well. While flying through space, he didn't really have much else to do, so he's continued to grow stronger. His newest power is Blue Evolution, a new level of Super Saiyan Blue that he's going to try and combine with Kaioken next. That would be really potent. And Beerus commends him. Right now he's above the lower gods of destruction, but he still has room to grow before surpassing Beerus and all the gods of destruction in general. Vegito wonders, is he the strongest mortal in the multiverse? There's probably a good chance of it, and maybe there's even some rumors that have been spreading around about him. But soon he will get the answer to that, because the Tournament of Power is announced not too long after. This is why Zeno was looking to gather the Dragon Balls. And Vegito tells Beerus about this. Wait, he encountered the Grand Priest and didn't tell him? This just freaks Beerus out even more, but Vegito's not too worried, especially after they hear about the tournament, and Vegito really can't wait. But now they need to gather a team, and if he wins, he can get the Super Dragon Balls for himself. And you know what? This might actually be better if anything. This way he won't have to get the Dragon Balls himself. This will be faster. Zeno already has all of them and he could just win them in the tournament. But then Vegito also hears about the Universal Erasure part. Oh, well, he's not worried about Universe 7, but still, that kinda does weigh on his mind. As he begins thinking about who to recruit for Team Universe 7, this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part, and what's gonna happen next time? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.